Hello students, welcome back to my class. Today I am going to teach you English grammar, and in English grammar the topic is preposition. This is chapter number 14 in your book. So today we are going to study about preposition. First of all, let us see what is a preposition. A preposition is a word which is used before a noun or pronoun to show its relation with some other word or words, word or phrases in the same sentence. So the word or words which are used before a noun or pronoun to show its relation in the same sentence with some other word, words or phrases are called the preposition. For example, we can say the pen is on the table. He drove to America. Now see, on is the preposition. It is used before this noun table to show the relation. It is used before this on. Preposition is the word that is used before a noun or pronoun to show its relation with some other words or word or words in the same sentence. Like that, he drove to America. To and then America. America is the noun. It is used before a noun. Preposition is used before a noun or pronoun. It is used before a noun, before America, to show its relation with some other word or words in the same sentence. So the word or words which are used in a sentence before a noun or pronoun to show its relation with some other word or phrases in the same sentence are called the prepositions. Now let us see some uses of the preposition. First of all, use of in, at and on. We use there are many uses of these words, these prepositions, but in this chapter, in this lecture, in this class, we are only going to talk about the uses that are given in your syllabus, that are related to your book. We are not going to discuss more about these prepositions. So we are going only to discuss about the things that are given in your syllabus, that is included in your syllabus. We use in with cities, towns and villages when we think about them as an area. For example, we can say, I have lived in this village. I have lived in this village. Here we use in because we are talking about the area of this village. It is used before this. We are going to talk about the area of this village. That's why we are going to use in this sentence. We use in to show the area of any city, town or village. Now come to the second one, at. We use at for the cities, town or villages to show the starting point, to show a point of journey. If we want to show a point of journey, we can use for cities, town and villages, we can use at. For example, does the bus stop at that village? That village? At. We use here at because we are going to show the point of a journey only for that village. We are not going to talk about the area of that village, but we are going to talk about the point of journey of a special place of that village. That's why we have used here at. At here shows us that this is the journey of point of a journey, and in here shows us that the area of that village. So if we want to, we use in with cities, towns and villages to show the area of that village, city or town. We use at with the cities, towns or villages to show the point of a journey of that village, town or city. So this is the difference between in and at. Now come to the next one, that is on. Here is only given one usage of on. There are many uses of on, at and in. The use of on is given here. We can use on plus a day plus part of a day, part of the day, part of a day. So we can use on for with a day and a part of the day, with a day and part of the day. We can say, I will see him, I will see him on Monday afternoon. I will see him on Monday afternoon. So see, we have used in this sentence on plus Monday a day and plus afternoon part of a day. So if there is a day and part of a day, we will use preposition on in that sentence. So these are the uses of in, at and on. Let us see the use of since and for. We use since for the definite time and for indefinite time. Here you can say, if we know the starting point of any work, if we know the starting point of any happening, any work, we use since. And if we know only the duration of that work, we will use for. So for starting point we use since, and for duration we use for. Since is used for a point of time and for is used for a period of time. This is the difference between since and for. For example, I have known him since, I have known him since 2007. I have known him for a long time. Here see the difference. I have known him since 2007, because we know the starting point of the action. If we know the starting point of action, we will use since. We know the point of time, that's why we will use since. And if we know only the period of time, only the duration of time, for that we will use for a long time. We know the period has been a long period, बहुत लंबा हो चुका है, but we don't know the starting point, but we don't know the main point. But in first sentence we know the main point, we know the starting point. That's why in first sentence we have used since, and in second sentence we have used for. So since is used for definite time and for is used for indefinite time. Now let us see the use of till and to. Use of till and to. We use till for the time and to for the place. We use till for the time and to for the place. So we can say that till is used for time and to is used for place. For example, I slept till 8 o'clock. I slept till 8 o'clock. He went to Mumbai. If we are going to talk about the time, we will use till, because 8 o'clock is the time. 8 o'clock is time, that's why we will use here till. But if we are going to talk about the place, we use to. For example, he went to Mumbai. Mumbai is a place. So for place we use to, and for time we use till. Now see the use of with and by. Use of with and by. We use with for instrument. If we are going to do anything with the help of instrument, we use with. And we use by for agent. If the work is done by any agent, then we use by. This is the difference between with and by. किसी वस्तु से हमें कोई काम करना होता है कि हेल्प से, तो हम with का यूज़ करते हैं. कोई व्यक्ति, कोई एजेंट होता है, उसको काम करने वाला कोई होता है, तो उसके लिए हम by का यूज़ करते हैं. He killed the birds with knife. He killed the birds. He killed the birds with knife. He was stabbed by the killer. So see, he killed the birds with knife. Knife is an instrument. It is not any agent. This is only instrument. So for instrument we use with. But if there is any person, any agent who is going to do the work, at that place we use by. For example, he was stabbed by the killer. Killer is a agent. Here killer is agent. For any agent we use by. For any object we use with. For object we use with, and for agent we use by. अगर कोई व्यक्ति काम करता है तो by का यूज़ करते हैं. किसी वस्तु से कोई काम किया जाता है तो उसके लिए हम with का यूज़ करते हैं. So this is the usage of and by. Now see, one more thing is given, and that is use of in and within. Use of in and within. See the use of in and within. In is used before a noun for denoting a period of time, and in means end of, at the end of. In means at the end of, and with means before the end of. In means at the end of, and before means within the end of. I shall return in an hour. I shall return within an hour. We see the sentences are the same, but we have used different preposition in and within. This in means at the end of the point. If we are going to use in, it means we are going to finish the work at the end of the time. And if we are going to use the preposition within, it means we are going to finish our time before the end of the time, within the end of the time. So within is used, within means before the end of, in means at the end of, and within means before the end of. Now let us see the next one, the next point, that is position of preposition. As I told you that prepositions are used before a noun and pronoun to show its relation with other words or phrases in the same sentence. But sometimes prepositions can be used in different places. Number one, if you are going to use complex sentence, if you are going to omit a relative pronoun in complex sentence, at that time we use the preposition at the end of the sentence. If you are going to omit, omit means छोड़ देना, उसको ना use करना. If you are going to omit the relative pronoun in complex sentence, then in that sentence we use the preposition in the end. For example, that is the boy, that is the boy whom I was speaking of. See here, the preposition is placed in the end because we are not going to use this relative pronoun. If in a complex sentence we are not going to write, we are not going to use the relative pronoun, in that case we can use the preposition in the end of the sentence. For example, that is the boy I was speaking of. If we are going to use the relative pronoun whom, then we will not use of. If we are going to say that is the boy whom I was speaking, then sentence will be completed here, we will not use of. But if we are going to left this relative pronoun, then we can use of in the end of the sentence. This is point number 1. Now see the point number 2. In interrogative sentences, the preposition is often placed in the end. For example, what is this made of? What is this made of? So we often use preposition in the end of the sentence in interrogative sentences. Now do you see the third one? Whenever in complex sentences, whenever the relative pronoun is that, in that case, if the relative pronoun is that, in that case we use the preposition in the end of that complex sentence. This is the boy that I spoke of. Because of this that relative pronoun, we are going to use the preposition in the end of the sentence. So if there is that relative pronoun in complex sentence, in that sentence we use the preposition in the end of the sentence. This is the rule number 3 that is given in your book. Now see the rule number 4. The preposition is also placed in the end of a sentence if emphasis is required in that sentence. Emphasis दबाव डालना, जोर देना, सेंटेंस पर जोर देना. कोई काम हम करने के लिए कुछ कह रहे हैं तो अपनी बातों पर जोर देने के लिए हम क्या करते हैं? We use the preposition in the end if we are going to show the emphasis on that sentence. For example, we can say, this I insist on. This I insist on. Here we are going to emphasize the sentence. We are going to make more emphasis on the sentence. That's why we are going to use the preposition in the end. किसी सेंटेंस में हम ज़्यादा दबाव देते हैं, किसी बात को अपनी कहने के लिए जब ज़्यादा दबाव देते हैं, ज़्यादा ज़ोर दे करके अपनी बात कहते हैं, तो वहाँ पर भी हम जो है प्रीपोजिशन का यूज़ हम जो है अंत में करते हैं, सेंटेंस के आखिर में करते हैं। सो दीज आर द पोजिशंस ऑफ प्रीपोजिशन। नाउ वन मोर थिंग, देयर आर सर्टेन प्रीपोजिशंस which are used with certain words. So certain noun, verbs and conjunctions are always followed by particular prepositions. There are certain noun, adjectives and verbs which are followed by the particular prepositions. He agreed to my proposal. Here with agree we use to. He agreed to, I agreed to. Seek of, what is the matter, matter with the child. So agreed to, matter with. In the same way, there are many noun, adjective and verbs which are followed by particular pronoun, which are followed by particular prepositions. So these are the things. In your book, a few words are given. You can see in your book. For example, he agreed to my proposal. Silkworm feed on mulberry leaves. He was punished for misconduct, punished for, differ from, cured of, died of. In the same way, there are many noun, adjective and verbs which are followed by particular prepositions. बहुत से ऐसे noun, adjectives और verbs होते हैं जिनके साथ विशेष prepositions ही आते हैं, उन्हीं विशेष prepositions का यूज़ किया जाता है. So this was the chapter of preposition. Now the chapter is ended. Thank you. Have a nice day.